Welcome to BOJ's Trending News for top stories in local, regional and international news, along with sports and local weather forecast. I'm Carla. Coming up in our local trending news. Community Allied Transport Operators distance itself from a rogue protest at a cruise ship in pier in Montego Bay. Jessica Alpart cut staff in the next month to facilitate upgrade at the St. Elizabeth-based plant. Agriculture Ministry pledges assistance to farmers affected by recent fire which destroyed farms in Flaggerman, St. Elizabeth. And another resident shot and killed by gunmen in Westmoreland. And now the details. Jessica Alpart has announced that within the next 30 to 60 days, it will begin to scale down employees as the company will be suspending alumina production at the St. Elizabeth-based plant for upgrading. Hundreds of employees are expected to be out of a job in short order to facilitate an expansion and renovation program at the plant. The Transport and Mining Ministry is unable to give a detailed amount of employees that will be left jobless, but indicated that the upgrading will result in a significantly more effective plant, with production capacity being increased from 1.65 million tons to 2 million tons per year. Jessica Alpart reopened in 2016 under management by the Chinese firm Jiaquan Iron and Steel Company after being closed for over 8 years. Minister without portfolio in the Ministry of Agriculture, J.C. Hutchinson, has announced that $5 million is to be provided towards the procurement of grass to be used as mulch to aid the resuscitation of the farmlands which were recently affected by fire in Flaggerman, St. Elizabeth. Mr. Hutchinson says the government is doing everything necessary and whatever is possible to assist the farmers to get back into production, and that the grass is a basic move by the government, who pledges to do more by December. Mr. Hutchinson also commended Hypro for coming on board and presenting the farmers with chemicals, seeds, fertilizers, and pesticides. Ashley Shakes, president of the Community Allied Transport Operators, CATO, says his organization is distancing itself from a rogue protest carried out by tour operators at the cruise ship in pier in Montego Bay, St. James this morning. Mr. Shakes says the protesters acted against a protocol and were protesting against the new motor vehicle security tracking system required by the government. I have spoken to the head of Chuta, Jacal, and Maxi Tours, and they have all indicated that they have not given any of their members their nod to state a protest against the new tracking system, Shakes told our news center. The system, which is called the Third Eye, is for own good and is at a cost of only $14,000 with one-time installment. It provides security for all our vehicles and is just a safety measure being taken on by the Transport Minister, he added. In the meantime, the protesters say the fee being asked by the Transport Ministry for the installment is way too expensive and only a few drivers can afford to pay this cost. The Kingston police are reporting that criminal charges have been laid against a man who shot and killed another man along Harbour Street in Kingston on June 24, 2019. Facing charges of murder is Omar Campbell, also of a Kingston address. He has been charged with the murder of 27-year-old Julian Chen. Reports are that Chen was driving along a section of Harbour Street when he stopped to assist a motorist who was having mechanical problems with his vehicle. Chen was ambushed and shot to death by Campbell, who was laying in wait. Campbell was recently taken into custody and charged with murder on the weekend. The Little London police have commenced an investigation into the shooting death of a man at his home in Canaan Mountain on Monday night. The victim has been identified as 50-year-old Trevor Leon, otherwise called Sparks, farmer of Canaan Mountain in the parish. The police say residents heard gunshots coming from the direction of Mr. Leon's home at approximately 8:30 p.m. An investigation was carried out at the premises and Leon was discovered shot to death behind his home. The University of the West Indies, its Risk Reduction Centre, which was established in 2005, will be working closely with the Caribbean Disaster Emergency Management Agency to advise and support the needs of the victims in the Bahamas who were recently affected by Hurricane Dorian, if necessary. The UWI's recently endorsed operations plan for interfacing with the region response mechanism will inform its internal coordination and external support to the impacted state. Also, its engineering experts are available to participate in the rapid needs assessment team, and that a team of psychosocial professionals is also on standby. Those were your top stories making local trending news. Now join us for news from across the region, as well as our international stories, sports and local weather forecast. From across the region. Rescues have begun to reach areas of northern Bahamas devastated by Hurricane Dorian, with aerial images showing a trail of destruction. Prime Minister Hubert Minnis said some areas have been disseminated and expected the current death toll of 7 would rise. The hurricane winds that hit the Abaco Islands equal the highest ever recorded at a landfall, and Grand Bahama also suffered severe damage and floods. Mr. Minnis confirmed the death toll had risen from 5 to 7, but added, "We can expect more deaths to be recorded. This is just preliminary information." He said the Bahamas was facing one of the greatest national crises in their country's history. In international news, 2 Apple employees, including an engineer who went on the trip with his wife and daughter to celebrate the teen's 17th birthday, are among the victims of a fire that tore through a scuba diving boat off Southern California's coast, trapping dozens of sleeping people below deck. Authorities said today that the bodies of 33 of the 34 presumed dead had been recovered, and 1 person was still missing. The new count of confirmed deaths came after officials recovered 13 bodies on Tuesday, said Coast Guard Lieutenant Zach Farrell, a spokesman for the Interagency Joint Information Center in Santa Barbara, representing local, county, state, and federal officials involved in the case. 5 crew members, including the captain, managed to escape after Monday's pre-dawn fire that engulfed the boat named Conception as the victims slept below deck near the island of Santa Cruz during a 3-day scuba diving excursion. The vessel eventually sank and overturned, making the recovery of the bodies challenging. Over in our sporting report, some of members of Jamaica's senior reggae girls have confirmed that they are in receipt of half of their salary that was promised to them by the Jamaica Football Federation, the JFF. On Monday, the incensed footballers had said they were still to receive the payout, even as the JFF General Secretary had said the funds were dispersed to their various accounts last week. Defender Toriano Patterson, who yesterday made the confirmation, pointed to the breach committed by JFF as up to Monday they were yet to receive payment for their work before, during, or after the World Cup in France, since inking contracts with the governing body in May. The girls on Monday stated that they will not participate in any Jamaica camps, practice matches, or qualifying matches until 100% of the outstanding contract payments are made to every player. On Tuesday evening, Patterson informed that most players were now seeing the payment reflected in their accounts. The very vocal Patterson says she believes she speaks for her teammates when she said money is not the chief motivator, but love of country. On our local weather forecast, insignificant feature, a trough across Jamaica. The trough is expected to remain across the island over the next few days. The forecast for this afternoon will see isolated showers and thunderstorms, mainly across central and western parishes. Tonight, isolated thunderstorms across northern parishes. Maximum temperature expected for Kingston as well as Montego Bay today is 33 degrees Celsius. That was BOJTV's Trending News, your top local, regional and international news, as well as sports report and weather forecast. Until next time, I'm Carla. Thanks for watching. Thank you.